have two panels today to examine the National Flood Insurance Program's claim process, particularly how it was administered in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy. This is in response to the hundreds of letters, emails, and phone calls I've received from desperate homeowners looking for help. And so let me thank our first panelist this morning when he gets here, FEMA Administrator Fugate, for being there to shed some light on what we must do to fix the process and make sure that it is a fair process with clear guidelines for homeowners in my state and around the country. Through their circumstances, and though their circumstances after Sandy may have varied, their stories follow a common thread. They did the responsible thing. They faithfully paid for flood insurance for 10, 20, or even 30 years. They never had a claim until Sandy devastated their houses, only to find out it wasn't enough. They assumed, since they had insurance, that they would be made whole and have the resources necessary to rebuild. They survived the wind and the rain and storm surge, only to face another nightmare, a flood insurance claim process that threatened to take what the storm had not. One of my constituents, Doug Quinn, who is with us here today, who I had the pleasure of meeting on Monday, said that when he contacted my office, he said, quote, "I was in my home the night the floodwaters rushed in. I waded out through waist-deep water at midnight to escape while electrical transformers exploded and houses burned down." That was the easy part. It's the year and a half since then that has been the tragedy. Doug had maximum coverage of $250,000 and received estimates of up to $254,000 in damages, but he only received $90,000, a third of what he needed to rebuild. And Doug is not alone. The fact is, the entire claims process, from the initial filing to the way claims are processed to the appeals process, is tilted against homeowners like Doug. Another constituent of mine, Steve Pisciano from Ortley Beach, appealed his settlement to FEMA, but after repeatedly inquiring about its status, FEMA finally acknowledged it sent a response to the wrong address. A couple from Kingsburg was only able to recover $21,000, even after a public adjuster confirmed there was more than 4 times that amount, or $87,000 in damage. When the couple tried to challenge the settlement, they were repeatedly told their case was closed. Underpayments and overly complex requirements, the runaround from FEMA on the appeals process, arbitrary, inflexible deadlines, overuse of highly technical exemptions, all highlight a program that, in my view, clearly needs improvement. While FEMA, of course, needs to protect taxpayers and prevent waste, fraud, and abuse, it is also necessary to protect policyholders and ensure that they are treated fairly. The question is how we strike the proper balance between protecting taxpayers against overpayments while not systematically shortchanging hardworking families who played by the rules. I think we should all agree, and I would hope Administrator Fugate would agree, that the process needs to be made fair. Homeowners want to know what common sense reforms FEMA can make to stop focusing disproportionately on overpayments while neglecting to protect qualified homeowners from being lowballed and unable to rebuild. We need answers, and I hope this hearing will help us get there. Hope our witnesses will address the issue of homeowners in New Jersey, and I'm sure elsewhere, who have had to threaten litigation just to get their insurance company to make them whole in time of disaster after they've paid their premiums and played by the rules. Affordable, accessible, and robust flood insurance is critical to the prosperity and economic future of my state and every state that suffers the effects of a storm like Sandy. The stakes are simply too high to get it wrong, and I look forward to hearing from the Administrator and from our second panel on how we can absolutely be certain we get it right.